Want the motion to open the
Yep.
Billy seconds it. All those in favor? Meeting has started. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we have the minutes, we need to review and possibly approve the minutes from the February 23rd meeting of this year. I've got one recommendation, all right? At the end, Joe, you should have a statement submitted respectfully by Susie, and then sign it after it's approved by the board. I didn't pick that up. I looked at this twice. Okay, so I just recently picked that up. Another thing, there's no D in Roger Hartson's name. It's R-O-G-E-A.
I was doing it, that's
Okay.
the D, that's what keeps screwing up.
Okay, sorry about that. If we're ready, okay, we could have a motion and then a second on these minutes. Cindy makes the motion to approve the minutes. Tim seconds it. All those in favor? Minutes of the previous meeting. Next item. Supervisor's report, financials from February 1st to February 28th of this year. There's no questions, I guess we'll move
The
on.
only thing I was asking is, we had a bill for the camera system, and I think we talked about some of it. Are we paying it after it's completed?
Yes,
Okay.
okay, that, we briefly discussed that, okay?
Okay.
That we wanted to be totally satisfied before we paid.
All right.
And that still stands unless we change it tonight, and I'm not recommending a change, because I still have concerns. Concession payments, all right. You'll see the list. The list is small, but there's still 2 properties that are really delinquent. And if you go to the 3rd page, is an email that I sent to our town attorney outlining our concerns with what lot 37 owes us and what lot 247 owes us, okay? And I asked him, should we plan a formal eviction process or should we just terminate their leases as of June 30th this year? Please advise. I have not heard back from the attorney on this issue.
So we'll wait until you hear from him.
Right. pretty much we have to wait until he gives us his advice on that. I'm sure we're gonna hear from him. Moving on, bus garage contract, okay? I forwarded, immediately after the, meeting that we had last month, okay? Citing the $1,000 increase, okay, to 28,000, all right? And that we wanted the payment, okay, on or around October 1st of this year. So I have not heard back. I reached out to the business manager today, and he did not return my email as to what their situation is concerning the board, the school board. So maybe we should jump ahead because there's a lot of items that might be, why don't we jump ahead to the review of the cost of electricity? All right, so there's a printout that looks like this. May of 2025 through March of 2026, the water plant, the sewer plant, we got a sewer, cost these all electricity to run these plants. The shocking thing is, all right, because we can go right to the bottom, all right, in February for the water plant, we paid $627.64. What you have to remember, all right, is the pumps are not working constantly, but frequently the pumps, and they're driven by electricity. So that's what we paid in February, $627.64. The $12.33 is what we pay the local electrical. So that's the total cost. From March, we get hammered. It's up to $1,221.18 for electricity. All right, in just 1 month. It's almost double. Moving to the next column, the sewer plant. There's a rotating system. Electricity is being used 24/7, all right, in that plant. In February, we were paying around $1,900. In January for the sewage treatment center. The third column you see there is the Spring Street pump station, but that's kind of been disconnected, okay, at this point. And the charges you see there is for the use of the delivery system, not the electricity. So you see some small charges there of $45 in February and then $25 in March. This is not good news at all. The next page, it's pretty much,
What is the carpenter shop?
it's the repair shop, okay?
Okay.
So as you enter the campground, okay, you have the registration booth.
All right,
Then the next big, long building on the left is the carpenter.
okay.
Okay. So again, we have the carpenter shop, we have campsite, we've got the historical museum, we got the North River Road Park Pavilion, all right, North Main Street Pole, the beach house, another carpenter shop on Water Street. And again, you see the cost of electricity for all of those different places. Then you see what it's like from May of 2025, and then when you get to January, February, and March of this year. Some of these, I gave you every place that we purchase electricity. There's nothing really, okay, because it's winter time. But you see the delivery cost there. So you don't see any outrageous things, okay, on that page. But that's because, all right, we're not using electricity at all, but we're paying for the delivery system. We go to the third page. Town garage. This is this entire building, okay? The medical part of this building, the medical offices, this room, the offices here for the town, the fire department, the bus garage, and the highway department. In December of 2025, for this whole building, we paid $1,116.06 for electricity, all right? In January, it creeped up to $2,099. February, it went to $2,075 plus 26, okay, for our local electrical company. March comes, $4,011.74. What we're paying, moving to the next column, outdoor lighting service. And that's where we just moved it, okay, from 14,000 to 20,000. We collected taxes on that. So we can see that for some reason we didn't get a bill in November and December. But in January, we paid a bill, but that was for 3 months of $6,342.11. In February, it's 2009. That was a little over 2,000 for those 3 months. Now, February, $2,903.98. March, $2,949.43. Almost $3,000 a month. And then we have a pole service in the campsite, but that's pretty small, okay, because again, all right, not much electricity being used down there. So the problem is, all right, in order to pay these bills, we're gonna have to seriously look at how we're spending money in this town. And we might have to cut services, cut programs, in order to pay these bills, because these bills aren't gonna go away. Any questions?
I talked to you there when I was doing the bills, and you say, is there a thing you can put on to see right where the most usage out of this building here is?
Right, I've been told, okay, that they can go to the utility boxes here, and devices could be put on the electrical boxes for each separate section of this building, and that would tell you who's using what in terms of electricity. So that's a step we should probably take, so we have a better grip on what's happening in each of all of the sections in this building.
I think it's a good idea, because I drive around a lot, and I've gone into certain ones of that in this building, and every light is on, a TV's on, and there ain't a soul there.
I've seen that before too.
I mean, it's kind of, and when you just start, wondering, hey, shut the light off, come on.
Well, all that though is mostly, if that bill is a delivery fee for everybody, they want to rebuild their infrastructure in New York State, so they're gonna charge all of us, no matter who we are right now, to pay for those upgrades, and that's how we're seeing our rates going up.
Also, I'm told that the demand for electricity is up, all right? Nationwide. So when there's great demand, and limits are a factor on the price of electricity itself.
When they replace the meters too, just not long ago, they're putting that cost back onto the customer. They're not absorbing that in their bottom line.
I'm sure that's,
Is now the time to, you wanna wait for public comment, public on this electricity.
Go right ahead.
So is it the increase in delivery or the producer?
The
Or
increase
is it both?
it's whoever's selling the electricity to us, okay?
That's the big increase.
That's the big increase.
And who did you go with a year ago? You went away from National Grid. You went with this. I don't wanna tell you what I think.
Yeah,
The owner of the dam here. My bill hasn't gone up like that.
Oh, my daughter from National Grid and hers is astronomical.
Who?
National Grid. Mine,
but I should make a copy for you. What we're paying the local electricity,
Did it increase that much?
I'll be honest with that, I have to look at the kilowatts, I did. Delivered here, all right, and then the cost of electricity. But I can certainly do that.
But you're talking doubling of the bills.
I believe it's for the cost of
You're
electricity.
talking something like 3,000 a month for the streetlights?
Yes,
3,000 a month?
2,900 something it was. The last one was
2 years ago, you were
2,000.
paying, about 1,200 a month?
Yeah,
Right,
Almost
12,000 covered, no, it was 14,000.
It
Okay,
was 14,000 for, 12 months.
yeah, and it was covered, it was covered with that.
I don't, anybody else in town, has yours doubled?
I was going up a little bit, but not that much, no.
that center, last month to the adult center's bill was $1,200.
When you, your electricity, it was supposed to be, what was it, 3/4 of a cent or a cent below anybody?
Right,
It was supposed to be a penny cheaper if you still got it from National Grid compared to what he's charging.
I'll have to do that.
Because you said it hasn't gone up much down at the campsite compared to past Januaries, Februaries, March.
No. But we're not using electricity on it.
Yeah, but I mean, compared to last January,
No.
February, March, when you're
We
not
only went
using
back to
it.
May of 2025, okay? We didn't go back to the winter of 2025. We can certainly do that.
Has National Grid come out and made sure those meters are right? I know they don't come out anymore, but I could check them. I called them one time and they told me that what they do now, this was before they put out the new meters, but they said they just drive by. And I said, well, you need to really stop every once in a while and make sure that the things is correct. I mean, it is, but I'm just wondering if there's any way they can verify that, yes, it has increased that much.
Okay, I'm writing that idea down, okay? It wouldn't hurt.
Hey, Ernie,
Because it could work the other way too. It's actually supposed to be more.
do they have, I don't know anything about this, do they have commercial rate and residential rates? Have they raised the commercial rates and not the rate? I mean, ours has gone up a little bit, but nothing like what you're talking about. I didn't figure out the percentage, but the difference, it was only about $23 a month. We're on a budget plan, but, I don't know if they have, maybe they raised commercial rates considerably.
It's another thing I wrote down, to check commercial versus residential rates.
When the light system was originally set up, it was every other pole. And over the years, everybody, get another, pretty much it's on every pole. Used to be set up for every other pole when it was originally set up. But you might have to, you can't go put $3,000 on one time, people in the Lake District, their taxes are gonna go up terrible. Like I said, it used to be all set up for every other pole, now you look, it's putting on every pole.
That's a
One
thought.
thing you might wanna look at is to reduce costs.
Yeah. I'll give you an example, just up above my house, okay, going up the hill, there's a light, okay? That light could be disconnected, okay, because
Nothing up there.
there's nothing there. There's lights on both sides of the bridge, but then you go up, this is probably, 100 yards beyond my driveway, there's a pole and a light on it. That, to me, that could be disconnected. And we could have to look at other areas here, particularly at the ends, okay, of runs and streets. Maybe they can be disconnected. Well, we've got some recommendations here to follow up on and see what we can do. So let's go back to the bus garage contract. Do we want to revisit the price that we sent to the school district last month?
No, I think we should wait and see what they say.
Okay.
Or do you mean, look at it because of the electricity?
Okay, look at it because of electricity. Nothing's final until both parties agree. So this is negotiations on a lease or a contract. So it could, we could change our mind and ask for more. It's just a thought. Moving on, okay, contracts with the St. Regis Falls Cabin House and St. Regis Falls Adult Center. I've made some progress on this, all right, but gives us a thought, maybe we want to pare back what we were thinking here, because it was 500 to the Cabin House and 6,000 to the Adult Center. So that put me in another area where we could possibly make cuts, so we could pay for our electricity. Any thoughts from anybody on that?
Of course, I'm against it.
So you're out of it because of conflict of interest. And again, on these items, we don't have to make a decision tonight, okay? But we should think about it, okay? And probably make some definite actions next month.
Well, as far as the busing, I'd see about getting the things on the panel. We can actually see how much, are they really using a lot more, or is it something else? I know that in here, this is all electric, right, the heat?
No, this is, this is hot water heat here that's pumped from that furnace that's in the fire base.
Same as the doctor's office too?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's all hot water.
That was electric
It's all-
heat, no?
It's pumped.
These aren't, these are electric.
Yeah.
These are all electric, doctor's offices.
Is it electric?
Yeah, it's only, the fire station's the only place that's boiler.
Boiler, yeah. I
Boy,
thought so.
you learn something new every day. So then, yes, there is a lot of electricity used in here. I've spoken with the ladies in the medical office, okay, and they're very reasonable. But I think pacing the meter, okay, will tell us exactly what's happening from month to month in terms of.
I think if you did that, then you between the fuel and the electricity they're using over there, if you have to up the bus garage, are they using a lot of electricity, or, you know, because you got your fuel bill and everything else, then you know more.
Yeah.
But if you say then finding out, like Lawrence said, is it usage or is it delivery? What is the big increase in usage?
I'm pretty sure it's usage. Okay?
Yeah.
It's usage. But we'll reaffirm that. We'll move on, okay, the AFR for 2024. I've spoken with Danielle Susi, and as soon as the tax season's done, which is April 15th, she promised me that she'd go right to work on that, so we can get that done. FEMA update, okay, because of the failure to reach a budget agreement at the federal level, nothing's happening with FEMA, okay? And that was pretty much what we said a month ago. So all of those numbers, okay, that I gave you last, all right, they still have to be reviewed, and when they're finally approved, then the money will be sent, but nothing's happening. Any questions there? All right, we purchased a Modine for the bus garage. We had one glitch with the thermostat for the new Modine, but that was quickly exchanged. A new thermostat was put in place. Okay, things are working fine. Okay, so we pretty much, we're paying the company. Okay, $6,200. Okay, and everything seems to be working fine. So they have more heat. Okay, in the bus garage. So security cameras update. This was the handout I gave you. And it shows you the bills from Adirondack Tech, emails back and forth between Chuck Robinson and myself, right? And the latest one is, Chuck, we do not have access to the cameras because you have never trained us. Can we schedule this? all right? He's earlier in the email, just checking to make sure all is well and working, also looking for update on when we might expect payment. So then I responded with, all right, we don't have access to these cameras, and so he's gonna train us how to do it. So that's a big issue, okay, because we don't know how well things are working. We don't have access. The next question, do you have permission from the companies that own the utility poles to attach cables to them? So I need an answer there, because if he doesn't have permission,
I
then
don't know who owns it. Sometimes the towns own their poles. I don't know what the state is with this particular town of Waverly.
No,
I assume the utility companies own it.
yeah, different one, yeah. Some of the bigger poles, that's National Grid, the smaller ones are the telephone companies and some of their own lines.
Yeah. And it's important that he had permission to put those cables on there. Or otherwise, our system's in jeopardy if something happens to that pole. We are also surprised there's an additional charge for technology to have internet access in the campground. During the planning and construction phase, the additional charge for internet service was never mentioned. And I know at least 2 different times I was with Chuck, one time up here, one time down in the campground. I said, are we gonna have internet access? And he said, yes, yes, yes. But he never talked about, because there's a bill in here for additional charges for that. $750, okay, for an outdoor access point. Also, to have internet access in the campground and Wi-Fi. Then there was requests from the highway garage to have a monitor and viewport. But that was clearly an addition. That was never talked about, okay, during the project. So these are some of the problems that we have to resolve with Adirondack Tech before their bill is paid.
This is the total here at 11,000, and then the other 1,800 for all the cameras and everything they've installed. And
Yes. The initial bill was $11,850. $850.
Didn't include the monitor and a way to watch it in their initial quote. That looks like this is an after it says, product camera parts, monitor and viewport to view the cameras at the highway department. That seems like a secondary. How would you set up a camera system if you couldn't view it? The
I do
11,850.
believe, see, that's another thing. How do we view what the cameras have to say? Is it gonna be in our computers? It's in my office, or is it gonna be on my phone?
Well, right now it looks like, I'm looking here. Monitor and viewport, which is where there's a DVR and everything, but there looks like there's a monitor and a viewport. I don't know what a viewport is, but that would be set up in the highway department. I'm sure you could probably add a phone plug in, but right now that's where the cameras are.
Right.
And I think it would be in the highway department. They would have access to the cameras. Or at least that's where it seems to say, monitor and viewport to view cameras at the highway department.
That was a request that I got from the highway department.
So that's extra.
Right.
But when they show us, I think you're right. I think it's probably just a way to log in. That's how we do the one at the school. is we just take a IP address of wherever the camera system is, and we can log in.
Yeah, something like that. But that's why we need a training session, okay, so we can understand our options on that. As you can see further down in that email, he requested the emails of the employees that would have access to the cameras. And he has them all, okay? But we don't know what to do, okay, to get into the system. He's got to train us. And he assumed he had, and that was a false assumption on his part.
Now, Sheldon, need to know, why would any of the highway employees need to know what's going on down at the campsite or any of that? I mean, I can see the highway supervisor and the town supervisor looking through the camera, but.
You know, the camera's at the sewer treatment plant, so does that work, do they work out of the highway department? Where are the people who work on the sewer?
Jared.
Jared
Yeah,
works,
Yeah,
he
Jared,
works
yeah,
on
Jared,
the
I can
highway
see that,
department.
but why does the plow driver need to know what's going on at the campsite or access to what's up, all the other town buildings?
Well, if an employee saw something that's wrong, okay, then they can start the investigation, all right? I think one of the concerns is, theft, okay, around this building, particularly down at the highway department. So, any other questions? We've certainly got issues there, but we've got to work with them, okay, to resolve and have answers, so we have access. All right, we jumped ahead and we looked at the cost of electricity. Every once in a while, you get a surprise in life. And we belong to a consortium here in Franklin County for workman's compensation. So they look at what's happened the last 4 years and what it's cost, okay? And so there's somebody who analyzes the whole workman's comp. And lo and behold, instead of paying out over $5,000, we're gonna get a $690 rebate. So that was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
So that's a little over 5,000. We're not gonna have to pay them this year, plus they're giving us $690.
They'll help pay the electric bill.
Well,
They'll help pay the electric bill
yeah,
For
for a little
for a
while,
month.
yeah, for a little while, okay? But you take it, I was shocked, okay, but that's a good thing. Any questions there? All right, water and sewer report, okay? It's gonna probably be more, okay, on water, okay? So there was a water main break, okay, on Dot Avenue, all right? However, that's been fixed. However, the valve that controls the flow of water, all right, around the corner on Duane Street, okay, that's leaking. So there's a possibility that that valve is gonna have to be replaced. They can't shut it down entirely, all right? So it's leaking water that's coming to the surface. So we have a problem there, okay? We also, just recently on Friday, okay, on Donkey Street, okay? Donco Street, okay, there's a water main break there. Last Friday. That's gonna be fixed. So the water is gonna be shut off on that street, as well as Spruce Street for a couple of hours, and that's gonna be repaired.
but not townwide.
No, the
Okay.
townwide, they managed, on either side of the leak, they found the valves where they could turn it off, okay? Because we were talking about the possibility that the water would have to be turned off for the whole town in order to repair that. But they found the shut-offs. So the rest of the town's gonna have water. Spruce Street and that street might lose water from 8 o'clock, 2 or 3 hours afterwards. Our town boys do a very good job, okay, of repairing these leaks. However, when there's transit pipe involved, we have to call specialists from Fiaco to come in, all right, and deal with the transit because it's got asbestos in it. And that tends to be costly. We haven't even received the bill, okay, on Dock Avenue.
Was this one the same way?
Transit, so we have to bring the specialists in so they can cut it out. The wastewater plant, okay, things, okay, are running better because it's warmer now. There's less freeze-ups down there, and that's a good thing. But we received a new edict, okay, from the Department of Health. They're very concerned about cybersecurity in your water plant and in your wastewater plant. So we're gonna have to, the good thing is, we don't have any online functions to test and to observe the running of the equipment per se. It's all run manually. So it's gonna be easy, we just have to make sure everything's locked up. But we don't have computers that are running the systems, so we have less of a threat from cyber security. But manually, we have to be ready and have to make sure things are locked up.
Now, the dam itself, is that run by computers?
I mean, the dam.
Yeah, I don't know, would that affect, if the dam were just to open up and let it all out, would that affect our water sewer treatment plant at all? Or is it kind of, it's feeding into that river, so it's not.
Yeah, it's gonna go down the river, okay, so. They'll be responsible for their own cybersecurity. That's private property. But we're gonna have to fill out paperwork, okay, where we stand on this, okay, and possibly training, all right, to meet what the new standards are. And we mentioned this earlier in the sewage treatment plant. They want us to start testing, okay, for microplastics and other things that might be coming out of our sewage treatment plant. But is there additional money or aid for us to pay for these costs? No. But that's the way of the world. All right, water and sewer rates for next year. The bills go out at the end of this month, then they pay half the bill in April, and then they pay the other half in October. So I've got some recommendations here for the board. So there's three variables, all right, that we all should know about and be concerned with, all right? The first is where, we have to pay salaries, all right? And we're paying salaries for a supervisor because Jared doesn't have all of his licenses. He's all set in water, but he's still gotta have another level in wastewater. So therefore, we've hired Tony LaRue that has all the licenses, all right? So he acts as the supervisor of Jared. And then we got a part-timer that does testing for us, all right, on weekends. Or if there's some reason Jared can't be there. So we have costs, all right? A stipend for Tony, an hourly rate for Jared, which is under the contract that we have. And then the part-timer, okay, has an hourly rate from the contract that we have with the union. So that's one of our costs that we have in water and sewer. Number two, aging system. We got examples of that. Water main breaks, okay? Breakdowns, all right? For example, I skipped over it, but the lift station on Spring Street, fixing that. Because we've got aging systems, we have breakdowns. And they're costly to repair. And now the third variable is the cost of electricity. So these are three forces that are affecting our sewer system and our water system. And we need to keep it going, or else the town's gonna disappear. Because then everybody would have to have their own water source, all right? Or in, septic system. And because we're so close to bedrock, a lot of people can't even have that on their property. So unfortunately, we're looking at increases, all right, in the water and sewer rates. We, in our budget that we built, okay, for 2026, we looked at raising the fees in water to $52,000, from $40,000 to $52,000. So that's a 33% increase. That's trying to raise $12,000 more, okay, in the water system. And I'm looking at the one you see way to the right. That's what we had in our budget. So that's an increase of, to collect $52,000, it's a 33% increase. The average homeowner would go from 108 to 144 a year. So that's $36 more, okay, to go from 108 to 144. In the sewer district, we were looking in 2025 to collect $82,000. In our budget for 2026, we projected, okay, $104,000. $104,000, yes, which is a 28% increase. That's collecting $22,000 more in fees. The average homeowner would go from $300 a year to $385 a year. So that's an $85 increase over a year. There's also a smaller option, all right, where we would only collect $7,000 in water fees more. That would go from 108 to 128. And then in sewer, we would only collect 13,000 more. And that would go from 300 to 350 a year. But given what's happening with electricity, I think we have to go with the higher rates.
What do you think, we have to go with a higher one to maintain?
Right. Given the three variables of what we have, I think we've gotta go, we've gotta collect more revenue.
And when do you think this should start?
With, the bills.
The bills that are gonna go out now.
Yes.
Can I make a comment, or do I have to wait till public comment?
Go right ahead.
I just want to put this out there just because, so I feel like we're going from one extreme of sewer water to the next extreme, because we hadn't raised the rates since I was in, since 2009 until last year, which was 2024. We gave them the notification in October of 24 that the rates were increasing in April. So we gave them a little bit of notice that they were going up by 20%. So now I feel like that we're like a week out from billing, and we're not giving anybody any notice prior. But just, it's like a big jump. It's like we're increasing $54 in 2 years in water and $135 in 2 years to sewer, which we hadn't made increases prior to that. I'm just wondering if there's, I think that's gonna impact a lot of people. Obviously, it's a lot. I think I told you it's like 220 something or 250 people in town, like units.
Right.
It's a huge increase.
Without any more, this time without any warning.
Without really any prior notice, we're just increasing.
That's what I'm
We're
worried
just
about.
sending out the bill in April with the increase in it. And I had mentioned to Ernie earlier, I had gotten a few calls about, I know we hired Jared in this position, I don't know anything about the contracts and what was discussed or what kind of agreement that was made, but if he didn't have the licenses, like, is he being paid as he was having the licensing is? And if he is, like, shouldn't that have been reduced to include the other person's salary that you're paying because he doesn't have the licenses? I mean, we're paying $2,000 a month for someone, $24,000 for the year, really, we've already paid them almost, right, for a year? That's a lot of money that we're absorbing when we weren't really expecting that for the sewer and water. I'm assuming we weren't expecting that if he didn't have the licenses already. I just wonder if there's other, I'm worried about the timing, basically, for me. I mean, I'm going to get, I mean, not just because I'm setting up the bills, but there's like a week, there's a week. And actually, they're not getting the notice. I have a week notice, but we here have a week notice, but nobody else in town does. It's pretty big. It doesn't seem like it's a lot of money, but it is for especially elderly people who are by themselves. And it's a big increase for someone who's elderly on a fixed income.
It is. I agree with you.
Next question.
It's just a lot.
You know, are we totally on our own up here as far as like fixing the water systems and all that stuff? Does the county help us at all, or do we lobby with them, or do they throw anything in? Does the state throw anything in, or is it just every town for itself? You know, I don't know. I haven't lived up here long enough to know. Is there any?
There's nothing at the county level that I'm aware of.
There's no
Grants.
there's no, I mean, water's pretty important, and, you know, when a big city goes down to water, I don't know. I think they do it all by themselves, do they? I don't know. Like I say, it's state legislators, you can go to and ask them, hey, look, you know, we can't just keep raising things all the time, and
We can certainly ask.
I don't know.
Our state legislators and see what they can do.
I mean, that's what they're there for, I
Yeah.
think. Maybe they wouldn't know, but I'm saying, there seemed like it would be some sort of they would tell us taxes for.
I can see these people calling Amy, but then you gotta see our aspect as town board members. We're not getting the notice from National Grid, they're raising everything. And all of a sudden, because we've got a really, really bad water system. We haven't even got the bills yet for these companies coming, doing all this stuff. We've had a leak up here on Main Street for how many years, and there, you gotta look at that
Right, so it's a utility, I get that, but the other side of that is my understanding is that your utility, if you don't pay your national grid bill, that can be terminated, correct? We don't do that for sewer and water, so we have several residents in town, like some of them that are going with the tax roll that have had sewer and water for 6-7 years that don't pay. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I'm just saying, we're saying, if you're treating it like a utility, I get it, I do. It's just, it seems like a big jump for the elderly in our town. You know, somebody that's living in one person versus 7 people living in a house, you know? It's a lot to come up with.
No, I'm not on water and sewer. Is that bill already gone out, the original one?
No, it's going out
No,
April 1st.
they go out
April 1st.
for late March, April 1st, and you have to pay it, okay?
By April
In April,
30th.
Yeah,
So we'd have to just send.
and then half the bill
Right.
goes out in October, for October 1st. So half's paid, all right, in April, and half's paid in October.
I mean, I guess people will understand everything's going up, right? I guess, it's just.
You're the one that's gonna end up hearing about it the most.
Well, that's okay, I mean, I don't mind hearing the calls, it seems,
Your fault.
I mean, I wish we would have increased all along the way, instead of like in the last 2 years quickly increasing,
Right.
like,
But we.
You're right, that's a valid point, to do a little bit over time,
Right.
but then when you do nothing for a long period of time, then you're gonna pay the piper. You're gonna pay.
and I think just a letter, like you said, I mean, we'll have to just go out with the bills to say, you know, why we're increasing them.
Yeah, and that
And then I will draft that letter, okay?
explaining it.
You know, getting back to, you know, the people who are working in water and sewer, all right? First of all, there's not a huge, we're in a rural area. There's not a huge pool of candidates who want to do this job. I'll give you an example, okay? So with the halftime position, there were candidates, okay, because I have to deal with civil service and personnel in Franklin County, all right? And so there were people who took the exam, they were polled, all right? But they lived, okay, around Malone, okay? They weren't really interested in coming here on Saturdays and Sundays, only to St. Regis Falls and on holidays to do the testing. So you're lucky if you find somebody locally, all right? So there's not a huge pool, all right? Plus the state of New York, okay? First of all, you've got the DEC. They tell us, you know, who can work the job and who can't. So there's all sorts of coursework and exams that have to be taken. Then there's an internship where you work at so many hours, but then you got to have a second level of a license before you can work on your own. So and if we don't have that, then the DEC is going to fine us, all right? And those fines are hefty.
Now, didn't we already raise the water rates though? I mean, is this a second raise from the first one?
Well, first of all, last year, the tax rate, okay, for water and sewer, we didn't touch, okay, in 2025. We just hit the fees, okay?
Right.
Okay, this year, we hit the tax rate, we increased, okay? And we're increasing the fees. Amy's got a valid point, okay? I probably should have had this done, okay, back, okay, in August or September for this.
But you couldn't have forecasted this.
We didn't.
Well, the electricity part
Right.
was, the other variables were there, the aging equipment and the salaries were there, but the electricity is really pushing us hard.
So these figures though are for the whole year.
Yes, yes.
So in their bill,
All right, and
That's-
water, it's a $36
dollar,
a year. So
so
that,
that'll only be half of that for. Okay,
so the increase of $36, so what's that, 18?
18.
It's gonna be $18 increase. And then in sewer, okay, what's half of 85? Okay, so that's that's 42.50.
42.50. It doesn't sound quite as bad when you do it that way.
Yeah, and that's the reality of it, because that's what they're gonna see in the bill.
Right,
They're gonna see the half
the half,
of that number.
right.
Well, I hate to see any of it, but to keep it afloat, if that's what it is, to keep it afloat, then, you know, you gotta
It's
cut.
such a big increase. And I know we haven't done it in 2025, but it's a big blow. We can't keep asking for a 33% increase and a 28% increase every year.
That's for sure. We need to avoid this for 2027, that's for sure. If we can.
We've got some elderly people that are not gonna be able to pay it. Some of them are barely making ends meet now. But they're the ones that'll pay it.
They will.
They will.
It's awful tough out there.
It is.
I had a fuel oil delivery today, $5.05 a gallon. Pretty ugly.
But we also have to have water.
In the long run, it's cheaper to go this way because to have your own septic and water, it's
Absolutely.
astronomical these days, especially with the state regulations.
And then when you look, okay, at our geology here,
Right.
okay? Having your own septic system and drilling your own well, maybe wells could work if you can afford it, okay? But you gotta have a leach field with your
Right.
septic tank. And there's too much paperwork in this.
Light's still there, we can all hook, everybody in town could hook.
Back up to the river, eh, Lawrence?
Great fishing again.
Well, it used to be the talk at the restaurant down there, and they look out the window and see the pipe going in the water, boy, that's good.
Watch the turds. One
Well,
Maybe it's a view through.
you know, probably the grossest thing is when, when we went into the river, you look out and you'd see kids and adults swimming in the river, you know? and-
Nobody ever died.
Well, that you
When
know,
I was a
that
kid,
you know.
nobody died, and all we drink out of the river.
And you know, in the old days,
Hey,
it was easier to do that. There was less crap in the water, okay?
Ultra violet thing you had to put in down in the most ridiculous $200,000 waste of in New York.
Ernie, with our projected budget for the water sewer and the water district, how much are we off by? I mean, if you predict that the electricity is gonna stay at this high rate, we budgeted X amount for it, but how much do we think that's gonna go over that budget?
Well, first of all, you're talking with, let's say, the street light budget.
Right.
Okay, so we're looking at 3,000 a month, okay? And there's $20,000 in there, okay? And so we have 9 more months, okay? 9 times 3 is 27, all right? And we only now have 17 in there. So that's just the lighting district.
Right, but this is water and sewer, it's separate from lighting. I know you have a
Yes.
budget thing, but
Right.
we're talking about water and sewer here, and I understand that there may be a lighting deficiency, but this is the water and sewer bill.
Right.
That's what I'm looking for, is what's the difference?
We could possibly do these increases, okay, and still have a shortfall, okay, in water and sewer, paying the price of electricity. We're gonna have to, we need these increases, then we're gonna have to
Do more.
make cuts.
Yeah.
Okay, and then maybe transfer money from the general budget to water and sewer to take care of it. So let's talk about the general budget. So one, I think we have to raise campground fees, okay, that's on the agenda here. We charged utilities, last year for the first time, utility rates for the people who rent cabins, who have a site. We've got to move that up. Okay, when we collect the water, the electrical bills, all right, then we have to kick that back to water and sewer, what we collect in the campground. Because we had electricity, we had water and sewer, all right? So we're gonna have an increase for our campers, all right? We don't have to do it tonight, but we're gonna have to do it next month. But I've got some thoughts on that. So that's gonna help us, okay? With a little bit more money going back to water and sewer. Is it gonna be, you know, maybe that'll be $5,000 to $10,000 more, and we'll need it. Maybe we have to shorten the time we have the beach open.
That was my thought.
Maybe we have to shorten the time frame that the campsite is open.
But we're gonna get money from that, so if you shorten it, we're gonna lose money.
Yeah, but we save money because then we would have less salaries, okay? Maybe the Waverly Youth Program, okay? And that's not a lot of money, but that's probably, you know, close to $10,000. And we can use that to pay our electrical bill. So those are thoughts, okay? For example, I think the last 2 weeks the beach was open. We had cooler weather. I had mentioned this before, that, you know, we could have closed, all right? If nobody's coming to the beach, we're still paying the lifeguards. That's another thing. Those are things we should think about. But we're gonna have to make cuts, so we have money to pay these bills. So did I answer your question, Tim?
Hold it right up.
The silence starts. Sherry, are you okay?
Heart's good. You'll be in Jerry.
So I think we're pretty lucky with water we got. I hate to see it increase because, you know, like Cindy said, it's getting tougher and tougher to live. But I think we have a pretty darn good system going. You use all the water you want. You flush your toilet as much as you want. You've got your washing machine. I hate to see it increase, but we've got to do something. We have to keep up with God. That's just.
That's an important point. You know, most places, you're metered. You're metered for
And
every
no,
drop.
you don't
Place
want,
I live, you're metered.
you don't want to be,
It stops
No.
you using water.
Because
Oh, yeah.
that's
you know,
awful.
I try to be careful, okay? But
Use all the way water.
I think we have to keep things going. I hate to see it, you know? But
Well, what's
we
the
should have
alternative?
increased years
Right.
ago. We should have been increasing for years, and we haven't, and now we're gonna pay. That's my opinion.
No.
All the damn.
So maybe we put that spin in the letter where they're fortunate, because if they're metered, like places like Saranac Lake and Upper Lake, then if their
That's a
prices
good
go
point
up,
to add.
the
That's
prices
a
go
very
up higher.
valid point.
So,
And people are gonna be upset. But people are upset, their light bills are going up too.
right.
And what are you gonna do about it?
You have to pay it.
That's right, you either pay it or you're not gonna have it.
And so, you know, we have to pay our light bill here in town too. So,
You should figure out how to make the ones that aren't paying pay,
Exactly.
because they're just hurting
you
everybody.
mean the
that
water,
pays.
the
And
water
water and
people that
sewer,
aren't
they're
paying.
hurting all
And there's
people.
people that are. Money from the county, that, you know, they
Eventually.
still get the money.
If the fees aren't paid, then it's sent to the county.
Right, like, and then the county has to collect them, right, so.
Right, but if it goes into foreclosure, like some people were doing it, they'd have the place for 7 years. They wouldn't pay the water and sewer, but they'd rent the place for 7 years. Then once the county took it back, they just walk away from it. So they never paid any water and sewer for 7 years, and they got away with it.
We still,
You know?
right, they got away with it, but the county's the one that lost the money, not the town.
Well, we're paying county taxes, so we
Right,
are
oh,
paying.
well, essentially, right, I get it, I get what you're saying, but I don't think we're ever gonna win that battle with the.
No, we aren't.
But we have to do something.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I will make the motion to increase the higher amount.
All right, so the water rate for 26, will go, why don't we just use numbers, from 108 to 144.
And the sewer from 300 to 385.
Second, Billy seconds it. All those in favor?
But I do think that it should be, if there has to be increases in the future, to notify people ahead of time. So they kind of know. Well, it's gonna, it's
That's a
unfortunate.
fair request.
Yeah.
That's a fair request.
Yeah, and I think we really, we gotta look into doing something with the water system, because we lost, in the last month, we've lost 3 fire hydrants. The town's in trouble with, if there was a major fire here, you're in serious trouble. The next thing's gonna go is it's gonna become due to evaluation, they're gonna check all this thing, and your homeowners is gonna shoot way up.
Start looking for infrastructure grants, because hopefully by this fall, all of our
If our AUD.
AFRs are gonna be done. We should be on the getting ready and having it ready in prep to go if it's in the fall, we could submit it.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
We need to find these grants.
We gotta get grants to, do the repairs, which both systems need.
So you did motion for both of them?
Yes.
For water and sewer?
All right, I didn't mention the Spring Street lift station. All right, we've ordered the pumps, okay, the control panel, but our teams have been very busy dealing with the water breaks, okay, so they haven't really had time to install all of that. But soon, okay,
Yeah, because it's costing us a lot of money.
I know, to get it pumped up.
Is that having to have it pumped out, there was 2 bills in there from Bannon and one from ABC?
Yeah,
No,
that's because it's not pumping out and pumping it over the little rise, and so the gravity takes it to the thing.
so them 2 bills alone.
Over $1,000 each time they come.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's between 3,000 and 4,000 to have that pumped out.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask that question, I wonder what that was for,
Yeah,
that's because of that station's down.
right. Hopefully within the next month, okay, that station will be up and running, and then those pumping bills will disappear,
Yeah.
because the system's gonna take care of it.
Yeah, system will do itself, okay. Yeah, and if you have to have it pumped in, I see it's quite a bit cheaper to have that Bannon than to have ABC,
Yes, yes, it is.
quite a bit
Okay.
cheaper.
There was, some sort of reason, he couldn't do it, and we needed to have it pumped, so.
Yeah.
So then we went to vendor number 2, okay?
Yeah, that Bannon, for if anybody's got something, he's the one to call. It was like, I had from my brothers, it was $200 cheaper than ABC to come and have it done. And real nice people too.
I think if we do raise the rates till we get to close to Saranac Lake's rate, that we're gonna have to think about quarterly payments. I don't think some people are gonna be able to pay it. We're getting to a level where and that's why I pay in Saranac Lake. Every quarter I pay, I think, $165 for water and sewer. I don't know, that may have gone up this year, but we don't pay it all at once.
Right.
We get a quarterly bill. If we're gonna be raising any rates any more than this, I don't think a lot of people are gonna be able to come up with $600 cash, or it's not 600 yet, but if we continue to raise it at this rate, it's gonna be close to that.
All right, highway superintendent report, okay. Roger told me they're working on a transition with all their equipment to move from winter, okay, to summer. So they're busy doing that. However, they've been very busy dealing with the water breaks. So that's something that they're thinking about doing. So I shared with Roger what you had to say, all right? But it hasn't changed his mind, okay? It's also reflective in the minutes too, so.
Well, I was gonna wait to the end, but since it's brought up, is there anything that said that the highway and the thing for being about making a monthly meeting, or is there anything that says that we have to come? If we don't like it because somebody made a complaint here, I'm gonna say, I'm not coming back. Lawrence has on me 2 times about something, so guess what? I'm not gonna come sit at the meeting.
No, you don't have to.
No, yeah. But that ain't right. It should be
Like I
something.
told you before, one elected official can't discipline another elected official. And another elected official doesn't want to show up,
There's nothing you can put in the job description.
no, it's
Wait for
every
the
2
election.
years, that's the job description.
Yeah, that's your say if you wanna change every 2 years.
Huh.
Well,
Yeah.
it's unfortunate.
Well, this year's every 1 year, because they changed it
Yes,
in 2026, so there'll be
yes.
elections in the fall for all positions.
Yes, all the 2-year positions
Yep.
will be up again. All
And the
right?
next ones will be every 2 years,
Yes, it'll be back,
every other year.
it will be back on the 2-year cycle. And then for the 4-year positions, okay, that's, I think what you just. I
And
think
you just do
you
1
have
year, and then you'll be
No, you
doing
have
it every
3
year.
years.
I have 3 years.
Yeah, she has 3 years. And the same thing for Jen. They have 3
Yeah,
years.
we have 3
And
years.
then when that's over, then they're gonna be back on a 4-year cycle. All right, so we dealt with the new rates for water, okay? Campground. Last year, we decided, okay, for the cabins and for trailer sites and RV, okay, that everybody would pay $2 a day for electricity, water, all right, and sewer. So we need to change that from $2 a day to double it, okay? Or maybe change it from $2 to $5 a day. The other utility fee was for the people who have seasonal campers. And we were charging them $300 for the season. And that was pretty much $2 a day. Because I think they had 151 days, all right? So that was just short. We could have technically charged them $302, but we charged them $300. The common rule that we saw with the electrical bills, it seems like it's doubling. So maybe we should double what we have here. But you know, we don't have to decide tonight. I know this is stressful, okay? But you could take, but next month we want to raise these.
People are gonna start,
What?
people are gonna start making reservations and stuff, so you're gonna wanna do it as soon as
They
you can.
have, they've been making reservations since December 1st, and we asked for half down. So Tricia's gonna have to,
So the sooner you,
yeah, it's better, okay, it's better.
So with the RV and trailer, they would pay like $850 for the season and then $300 on top of that.
Yeah.
The utility.
Okay, and
right?
then there's the winter storage fee, okay?
If they stay,
Yeah, if they
if
stay.
they keep it, yes. So if they wanted to stay for the whole season, it'd be $1,150 without sewer. It'd be $1,500 if they had sewer.
Right,
That's cheap.
and our campers won't be happy, okay, especially the seasonal ones. However, all right, people call from other parts. A woman called the other day from Michigan. And when she heard these rates, she couldn't believe how cheap it was.
That's what I was just saying.
Okay, and so she rented some cabins, and then she's interested about bringing in her RV or camper, all right?
Yeah.
So people have different perspectives on this.
I think the utility fees should go up to $5 a day. That's just my thought. They're only here for like 2 or 3 days at a time,
Right.
usually. I don't think $5 a day is unreasonable.
So it's gonna be $3 a day more for that, okay? Which is, so if they're staying for 3 days, they're gonna have to pay $9 more. If you're on vacation, $9 isn't too bad.
No,
These ones that stay there year round. Increase it, because guess what? They've got the prime spots. Nobody else can come in down there, because this one's got their park down there, they got decks built off it, and where's the prime spot that anybody wants to put an RV? Right down by where the old bridge was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're there for season, so that they should pay more, a lot more. They're gonna stay there for the season, leave it there for the season so nobody else can use it.
I'd like to look to see what the area is charging now. I mean, there's places all over that have RV rentals. And see what we are compared to them.
Check High Falls Park.
Right.
What's that?
Check High Falls Park
Or
in
Deer
Chattaday.
River.
They were higher than this back when I was there. 10 years ago.
Falls Park.
In High Falls, okay, when you set up in there, you're paying your own electric bill.
Yes.
The campground doesn't pay for you. So the more electricity you pay, you're hooked up directly to the electrical company.
And no one can come and visit you. You have to pay if somebody wants to come and visit you. Just to come and say hi, you have to pay to get in.
$50 a day, seasonal 13 to 1400.
And that doesn't include electricity.
The cabins are $69 a night. Daily is 50, weekly is 315, monthly is 1250, seasonal is 13 or 1400.
So if we could get grant money, do we want to look eventually to move it to a metered service for the campers? I mean, if this is just gonna keep going up and up.
Yeah, exactly. That would be the fairest thing to do, okay, is to set up meters for every campsite. Then no one can complain because, see, when it comes to the seasonal, the dangerous thing is, they want to be out in the country, but they gotta have air conditioning too. And some people, it's 80, 85 every day, they run that air conditioner 24 hours to keep it, they want it at 68 or 70, whatever they want in there. So they're sucking up electricity. Some campers are sucking up sugar, lots of electricity. In the long range, you're right, Tim. Just doing High Falls, they should be metered, okay, directly to the electrical company.
Is there a setup fee from the electric company to put, meters in?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there'll be a fee, You probably have to pay for the device, okay?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And then installation.
And that would come out of the town?
Well, if we got a grant,
Well,
To do it,
yeah, but,
yeah.
yeah, right.
we could only afford to do it if we got a grant. So if we did it $5 a day, we have to change all the cabins from the 2 to the 5 too, right?
Yes. The big thing is what are we gonna do with the seasonal utility fee?
Because they're staying here, I think $3 or 300 is all right. Because they're staying here for the whole season.
All right, but,
Because,
so you look at the top, there was 151 days, okay, last year. I think it's 150 this year, all right?
right, so
In the campsite. So 300, 150 to 300 paying $2 a day,
oh, okay.
okay? And then we're gonna charge everybody else $5 a day. We really gotta change that
Yeah,
300.
we would have to change it.
If
We should give them a break though. We should give them a break because they're staying the whole summer. So maybe not $5.
But they're the ones who will be
Yeah,
using
Well,
more
they're,
electricity.
you're right.
They're gonna be using more electricity.
You're right. That'd be 750 more. That's seems like a lot.
But when you present it on a daily basis, break it up per diem, it's not a lot.
It's gonna be the same as what the other people are paying, if you go from $2 to $5 a day.
Yeah, and like a summer, like last summer, how warm it was, you know, they had that air conditioner was on all summer long, so they used some electricity.
What's the percentage that you're charging them? You're not charging them the regular daily rate, though, right? You're charging the seasonal rate? What's the difference between the seasonal rate by day and what, someone coming in for 1 day is, what's that percentage?
There is no difference.
Oh, they pay exactly the same?
Yeah, they pay whether you come in, this year they paid $300 for the season. All right, well, last year they paid $300 for the season, it was 151 days, okay? When you divide that, that's $2 a day for utility. And then
But I'm
everybody
the
else,
daily fee for renting out for camping, like, are they paying the same daily fee as a regular, anybody coming in for 3 days?
No. No, they're not.
So they're paying a reduced rate on the camping fee?
Yes.
They're also getting prime spot.
Right.
That lower,
Oh, I
that's the
know.
best spot down there.
Yes, I understand.
I just think if we charge them $750 utility fee on top of $1,200 with the sewer, that's gonna deter a lot of them. Now you're up to almost $2,000. And by the river, it is gonna be over 2,000. So maybe we shouldn't go to $5 a day.
Next question, with all your thing, are you losing money down there? Or are we making money?
We made money.
We made money,
we
okay.
made money,
Yeah.
okay? It was over $20,000 last year. Was it, that was the number? I gave you a sheet on there, we made 20.
Between the help and everything, you still make, yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
And you even figured in all the costs of the help too,
Yeah, including the unemployment.
Just looking at our electric, where's the campsite electric costs? Are they in this one, or am I just missing? I see campsite, but that's just River Road. $23 a month there.
It's all,
It's-
all of those are different electric bills in the campsite, all of those.
Okay.
All right.
but that was before it went up.
5 months. It's $400 a month for the raise it to 2,000. That's
Okay, so that's what they were monthly, okay.
Yeah.
Cross.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That's the kilowatt hour. I just wonder what the kilowatt hours are, because we're gonna, like we said, it's gonna be double.
Yeah, and it's gonna double. At least double.
Like Cindy was saying, if you have a site that's on the river for $2,000, you have 150 days, you divide that, it's $13.33 a day. So you can't go wrong for that rate. So you can obviously increase the rates. You can't get entertainment for that kind of price anywhere.
You get less than $100 a week, that's nothing.
Right. And you have all the amenities too, you have the shower house.
Garbage.
Yep.
Don, why don't you come straight across? I think you'll make it easier.
Thank you. Thank you.
We should say,
But even if it's double,
campsite for 5 months out of the year.
Yeah.
$100 a week?
That's The mini cabins.
Yeah, I'm just looking at what our projected income, if we made it, what we get with 300, what we get with having it at 775, 755.
If these all double.
Yeah.
These are, what? They were last year,
Right,
and if they double,
yeah, you're going from 150 to 300.
Yeah.
Okay.
month.
I don't know.
What they paid
What's
a
that?
year, that, potentially what they paid a year for utilities could, about a month. You take it in everybody's.
What if we did $3 a day?
I think we need to dock it to
4?
4. And then,
That'd be 600.
and then move that to 600. Want to give them all, we'll give them all some, okay?
Okay, that's 2 or 4. That sounds better. That would be, it would be 1,800 with sewer. That's more than sewer. We go along with that.
So we're looking at, okay, utility fee at going from $2 a day to $4 a day, all right? And then utility fee, all right, for the seasonal campers will go from 300 to 600.
Yep.
And down for the cabins would be the $4 too.
Yes.
I'll make a motion for that.
All right, the motion to raise the utility fees for the SRF scenic campsite. Utility fee for seasonal would go from 300 to 600. And then the utility fee per day, all right, will go from $2. Motion and second, please. Billy makes the motion.
Cindy already
No, I
made
made
me.
the motion.
Oh, okay.
And I'll second it.
Cindy made the motion. Billy seconds it. All those in favor? Reinhold Ron Hubbard is interested in continuing as a member of the Board of Assessment Review. He's willing to serve a 5-year term, which would go from October 1st, 25 to September 30th, okay, 2030. All right, so I'm looking to appoint him.
Make a
Billy makes the
motion.
motion. Cindy seconds. All those in favor? Public and board comments?
How many cameras does the town have now? Help in the public?
I mean, with the new system?
With the entire system? You had a couple before,
Yeah.
2 or 3?
Okay, there's 2 at the library, there's 2 in the campground, there's 2 by the sewage treatment plant, there's 2 by the water plant, there's 2 by the beach, and then we have it on the corner of this building.
Well, you think maybe you should make a list of where the cameras are in town and post it in numerous places so people in town know where the cameras are?
Because by,
You're required under law.
yeah, by law,
anyway to-
we have to have signs up that there's cameras.
Yeah, do you have have you got a sign at each camera? Right now?
No, there's no signs up yet.
What's the plan?
We're gonna have to put up signs as soon as we get it up and running.
At each location, there's a camera, there'll be a sign there
Right.
saying camera in use.
Yeah.
Monitored 24/7. I can put it on the Facebook page once we have the locations too.
We should post it on the building though, where it is.
Yeah. Yeah, cause you got people in town think they're everywhere and you're watching everything, as you say. They think you're pointing at the riverside, they think you're pointing here or there.
That was funny.
Yeah.
Good enough.
But it's right, I've heard different people say, they got about the building.
You didn't mention about that, new cleanup down in the campsite.
Okay, so, Jim Brockway called the DEC, okay? Then they gave us permission to take down, well, first of all, the bridge, the footbridge in the campground collapsed, okay?
Oh.
Ice destroyed
I
it,
didn't know that.
okay? You're right, I didn't say that. So it collapsed even more and was on the ice in the river. So Jim called the DEC and they gave us permission, though we never got it in writing, all right? Because Roger and I said to Jim, have this lady call us, I want this in writing, we can take this down. We've never got anything in writing. So Roger and the highway department and along with Jared, they tore down and removed all the wood from the campsite side. There's still a stretch, okay, on the south side, okay, and westerly side, and they couldn't reach it. But most of it, the footbridge is gone. The wood has been removed with permission of the DEC.
You know, one other thing on the sewer and water, anything you collect is gonna go back into sewer and water.
Yes. Most certainly. We're gonna need it, okay?
There's, how many camps down there pay a sewer tax? I don't know if any of them pay a water tax.
I mean, the South River Road,
No, campsite. I remember when I was on the board, it was $7, $8, $9, $125 fees that the town paid into sewer and water. It must be, it's a sewer tax, I'm pretty sure. What was it, do you remember, Cory? It was
I don't ever remember
It was
that.
$125 on each, and I think that's what the sewer tax was back then, $125.
Those are the tax bills that you get, I mean, that I give you, that there's a sewer, that's what you're paying, those tax bills. I think there's like maybe 10 or 11.
Right,
They have the sewer, that's what you're paying, is the sewer tax bill for those properties.
Which, is
They're the
it on them
campsite.
camps?
From the numbers of.
yeah,
I'd have to go
okay,
copies,
so
but those
I
ones-
always wondered about those bills, yes.
Mhm, yeah.
So she, you know, generates a bill and the town pays it.
So when you tell me you made $20,000 on that campsite, there's no way. I mean, that 125 times 11 didn't go into your expenses. Right?
This money that we paid out, okay, I never put that into the campsite.
No.
I didn't know until this time, okay, that was a fee, okay? You learn something new every day.
Yeah. So is the campsite considered in the water and sewer district?
It must be,
Yeah,
it would have to be.
it has to be.
Why would it have to be?
The line goes right through.
Wouldn't get
The
water.
line goes right through. The line goes right through it.
There's a plastic line in there too.
Yeah, it's a supply line. You can have the hook on or not.
That's-
Yeah, but all the water that goes there comes from the water treatment plant.
Right.
The water and sewer district the water district was set up in 1936. There's been how many extensions since 1936? Was the campsite added on to the water district?
I don't know.
I don't think so. And you were talking about, when you took this line away over here, that it wasn't fair to the people in the sewer and the water. And it wasn't. But is that campsite fair to the people that are paying sewer and water taxes? You pay no taxes down there on water. You're paying on 11 camps. You pay nothing on the
We don't pay water tax on
The seasonal trailers that are down there. Yeah, you do. You pay $125
On the cabin,
I'm trying to
that?
look,
on the cabin.
I'm trying to look
Yeah,
up
I
what
have
they're
I have
actually
my
paying.
lot. I don't even have water there.
I'm trying to look it up right now.
Your bill, one of your bill line items is water tax.
But there's a zero there on the South River Road.
Oh, no, I'm talking about the lot at the end here on Main Street. We have a vacant lot there,
Oh,
and I still get a water tax.
You don't pay, that is in the water sewer district.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gets
You
paid
pay the tax, but
a
you
tax,
don't pay the
but they
fee.
don't pay a user fee unless you're hooked up to it.
that's a district tax.
Yeah,
No, you just have that tax
yeah.
that you're on it, that you're in it.
See, that's one thing Roger could tell me if he was here. He would know if it was in the water and sewer district. I imagine it's in the sewer district, because the sewer district was established in 1998.
Right.
The water district was established in 36, and the campsite wasn't here in 36. Either was,
67.
there was 3 people on the other end. Used to be my sister, and that line comes out of Jerry Goodrow's cellar. It's a half-inch plastic line. And there's a half-inch copper line that goes from right across from the Dollar General, whoever lives there now,
Yeah, right.
down to Jerry's.
The old tech place.
Yes.
But they pay an additional tax every year, which is above what you pay in the water district. They pay almost double because they're charged a separate fee.
Wait, we add on, so I add on the sewer, I add on the fees. They basically pay the same thing. I just added on to their
Is it the same?
sewer and water. I charge them exactly what the tax rate is, so they get paid, they pay the exact same. It's
Same.
just I send them the bill and it doesn't go on to their, unless they don't pay it. So like Jerry Goodrow, I charge her $90 and then I charge her the water tax rate as well.
Which gets back to the campsite. I think you should find out if that's in the water district. If it is, should be paying, what everybody else in town pays. Into the water district and the sewer.
Does this building pay the water district fees?
Yes. Because that campsite has never made money. It made money back when the federal government was subsidizing it. Since then, it's never made money. No way that campsite can ever make money. I know you tell me it does, but One year I took the figures and it was Chad said it was about a $9,000 profit and it turned out about a $7,000 loss. So, it's all I got.
Okay,
Yeah, back when I was, we had a thing because there was a problem with the Board of Election that every time it's voting, it pops up to town hall. Everybody's coming, beating on this door, trying to get in. The sign above that, over there that says firehouse, should say town hall. Because technically, that's the town hall. And the same thing, they had a run-in with why we no longer, the lady will not come and do shots for dogs no more. Because of she was in the town hall part doing some stuff, and the individual come in and screamed and yelled. They refused to come and do dogs no more. That is not the fire station. That is the town hall. I'd like to see the sign back up, but because of the Board of Elections, I don't know how many times they come and knock on this door because they think they're coming into here. Just a sign above the door that says town hall. And that, the main part technically is town hall.
And there was a sign when you were on that board at that time, it was made, and Mr. Rivers was supposed to put it over the door.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
Wilbur took it down and then Chad made it disappear.
Yeah. But it should be on there because that's voting time.
That's right.
That they up there to show that it's the town
Offices, et
hall.
cetera. That's right.
Yep.
I'll start working on that.
All right.
Okay,
And Signs Incorporated should have that design still in their archives. That's where we got it from.
yeah, again, it's a good place, you know? Okay. And you're right, it's archived.
I mean, you talk about our electric bills going up double. Has our, usage doubled? You know, sort of like the, sewer plant, you said that doubled. That sewer plant shouldn't change very much through the course of the year. The usage that comes out of that every month should be almost the same. Same thing with the streetlights. The streetlights should run the same. In the summer, they don't run as much. In the winter, it's gonna be higher. You know?
Exactly, because they have more daylight hours. So, no, it's.
I mean, our power
everything's-
doesn't went
the
up.
kilowatt hours are more expensive.
Yeah. And that's why you gotta figure out why. You know, New York State is trying to push everything electric, but then they're gonna charge you like stupid because you wanna use electric. You know, we gotta figure out why.
I guess I would say there's more and more demand for electricity, okay?
Yeah.
Look at all your tools are moving away from gas to battery, all right? So you gotta charge your battery, so that's more electricity, okay? And you got cars and trucks, okay, that are becoming electric.
Which they shouldn't be. They don't work.
Plus the
You know,
battery,
it
plus the
costs three
battery,
times as much for a school bus, an electric school bus, as it does one powered by diesel. And the electric ones aren't as reliable as the diesel ones. I mean, they go on a long bus ride, down the way back, they don't have heat. You know?
If they even make it back.
exactly,
Yeah.
plus the batteries are extremely dangerous.
Exactly.
There was, just recently in Williston, Vermont, I saw this on Channel 5, okay?
Yeah.
There was 5 or 6 buses in a row, okay, and they were just shells.
Yeah.
Steel shells,
A couple $1 million,
yeah,
around.
went up. Anything else? All right, let's adjourn. Billy makes the motion, Cindy's, Tim seconds, it, all those in favor. That meeting is closed. Thank you for coming, folks. Good evening.
Hey, I do, I talked crap about it for 20 minutes to find out that he didn't go to the meeting, he didn't charge it down. I'm not, why he charged it, fire department, but he did that. But I agree, I think if you're gonna be in the position that you should come to a meeting, and, you know, and talk. Because you don't, if you